Isolate and negate anything else. What's the one thing stopping you from starting sooner? Okay, here's another cool one that I like. What's the one question you need to ask me now that lets you know you're ready to get started now? Okay, cool. Now, another one here, another choice is besides that, if they say, look, I can't afford it, besides the fact you can't afford it, is there anything else stopping you from getting started right now? Pick one of these and use it with everyone that you get an objection with. Because they're going to say no to this, you can isolate it and then you can deal with it. So you need to isolate and negate anything else first. Once you do that, then you can move to the next one. So let's say I want to think about it. Okay, how often do people say, oh, I want to go home and think about it? Okay, not partner yet, just I want to think about it or I want more info. We need to chunk it down. It's just that you haven't given them enough information for them to be certain yet. We need to find out what that is. Okay, Mary, what exactly would you like to think about? And then what will happen is she'll pick one of these things and we can go from there. Okay? Another question here is what will need to happen right now for you to say yes and get started on your results? Again, here's a spin-off of the other one we asked. What's the one question you need to ask me right now that will give you all the information you need to get started? What's the one question you guys need to ask me right now that lets me know that you're ready to get started? They'll ask you a question, and that question will let them know, and they'll take the next. This is, I think, the biggest killer for a lot of PTs, and I get a lot of PTs asking me about this. We'll be finishing in about 5-10 minutes too, guys, just so you know. So you say, okay, with this you've got two options. Week option, you get paid weekly, yes. Then they say, okay, so you go, okay, let's get started on the weekly option. They say, oh, you know what, I want to talk to my partner. A lot of personal trainers don't know where to go from here. These are the top questions. These are the top ones. One, what exactly do you need to talk to your partner about? And chunk it down. And you might just find it's one of these other things. Okay? And another one that's not on here is, do you have the authority or who has the authorization to say yes to this, you or your partner or both? If your partner, I love this one, if your partner was here right now, do you think he or she would be supportive? And if they were here right now, what do you think they would say? Do you think they would say, yes, go ahead, honey? Okay, and what that's going to do is get them to think about what they would say, and quite often you'll get a lot of yeses from there. Here's a little bit of a cheeky one. Has there ever been a time that your partner has bought something on their own when you weren't there without your input that you were supportive of? Yes. Again, so that's a great one as well. Have you ever bought something for yourself without your partner there? Yes. Okay. I really like this one here. If your partner's here right now, so I would say, what exactly you want to talk to your partner about? If it's not something else on the list, I would say, if your partner is here right now, do you think he or she would be supportive, and what do you think they'd actually say? Now, they're going to choose yes or no. If they say no, then, look, I don't want to be too pushy and I want them to talk to their partner. Never give them forms to take home. If you can, get a signature there and then with a blank form, but again, a lot of people I think it's a bit aggressive. So if they say yes, quite often one of these questions will lead to them signing the paperwork. Okay, well, what about if they want to check their budget? How many people say they can't afford it or check my budget or, you know, what's the one thing stopping you getting started right now? I'm not sure if I can afford it. Which part of your budget do you need to check? Sit down and work it out with them. What's something you spend money on that if you stop spending money on that will allow you to afford this and will also actually help you fast track your results? If you were to find the $99 a week in your budget right now, where would you find it? It forces them to think about where they can find the money. Everybody has $99 a week, even people not working that get government money from the government. What actions would you need to take to be able to afford it? What's one thing in your budget that if you stop spending $99 on a week right now, that would allow you to achieve results faster and also be able to afford this program? Brilliant question. Pick one or two of these, memorize them, practice them. Some people say, I want more info. These are so vague. Again, besides that, is there anything else stopping you from getting started? No, always is that. What exactly would you like more info on? Specifically, chunk it right down and then deal with it. What's the one question you need to ask me right now that will give you enough information to get you started? Lastly, you might get this. I'm not sure if I need it or if it is for me. If you get that, then you haven't gone through the process properly. If you've gone through the process properly, most people, if they give you an objection, will be money or partner, and you can deal with most of those. What would need to happen for you to feel like it is for you? And how would you know if it is, or how would you know if it is for you, and what would need to happen then? Okay. Sometimes we don't know if something is or isn't for us until we just give it a go and get started. Then once we start, we realize how important it is. Have you ever experienced this before? Can I ask you a question? Do you need your iPhone? No. Could you live without your iPhone? No. Now, before you had your iPhone, you didn't know you wanted that. You don't need it. You don't need personal training. Personal training might not be for you. Okay, this is called mismatching. Okay. But you know what? You want this because of what it means for you and how it's going to make you feel. Like you said before, and you know you're not going to get this without. You're not going to get the results you want without this. Okay. So just like your iPhone, you don't need your iPhone, but you can't live without it. And I guarantee that if you just give this a go for a month, I guarantee you'll feel like you can't live without it, and you'll realize how much this actually means for you and why it's so important. Let's give it a go for a month. Get them on a go somehow for a month on the Kickstarter thing. And if you want to stop from there, look, worst case, I'll even give you your money back after a month if you don't like it, whatever it takes. And they're the one-liners. Practice those. Every one-liner that you need to deal with any objection is in there. If you can think of one, send me a message. I'd love to hear it, and I'd love to deal with that. But you can deal with any objection. You want them giving you the money objection because you can use the drop cell. It allows them to say yes, no up to 3 times, and you can get them on that. Okay. 2 other items that I'm not going to get the ability to spend time on today. I'll just quickly touch on them. Is mirroring and matching. Okay. The ways that we do this is we want to use whole body matching. Okay. Now mirroring and matching is really powerful for creating unconscious rapport. People like people that are like them. You know, so it doesn't mean you need to copy or mimic them. It just means that you need to use similar body language. You can use similar sentences. You can talk at a similar speeds. Okay. So think about that. You can read through this in your own time to look about some of the cool matching in here. I really love this one. You can actually adjust your breathing patterns to match theirs. We all know that if you get 4 women living in the same house, there's something called synchronicity. We all know where I'm heading with this. That I apologize for the topic, but I think it's a perfect example. That what happens after 2, 3, 4, 5 months, girls, is that the menstrual cycle all comes in sync. It's the same thing. It's a big part of the unconscious rapport. It's not that people are the women are constantly choosing to make that happen, but it's the same thing. They're breathing high, you breathe high, okay? And then you can cross-pollinate as well. So I'll be really cheeky, and people will blink and I'll tap my finger, stuff like that. People will go, well, this doesn't even make sense. What's the point? It's about unconscious rapport. The more like them you are, look, most of you know me know I very, very, very seldom swear. You might get the occasional swear word. But if I'm talking with someone, they swear a lot. We know as PTs, I remember once having someone that used to be a member of the KKK. He had all these bullet wounds and all these scars. I had a religious person, then I had an Indian person, and then you get a hairdresser, then you get another PT, and you have to personality adapt. Imagine if you were to from now start practicing your rapport building skills through mirroring and matching, so that way you can start building unconscious rapport. It's going to make the whole process a lot easier. And the VAK model is the teaching model. People will access memories and thoughts through visual or through kinesthetic. Again, I'm not going to have much time to go through that. Read through it in your own time. It's basic NLP. And I also talk about eye accessing cues and what they mean. I'm not going to have the chance to go through that. There's some extra information here you can look through in your own time. And I didn't have the opportunity either today to go through what's known as meta programs. There's a model called meta programs in NLP, which we go through in the Master Practitioner course, where there's almost 60 conceptual filters to better understand how people think. And one of those is towards and away motivation. Most of you guys have been following me for a while know that most things we do are to go towards pleasure or away from pain. So have a look through that stuff in your own time. Just to recap on what we just went through though. So the hour process, 30 minutes of building rapport. We go through the pre-exercise questionnaire form. Okay, the first 10 minutes is on the 2 main questions, where they live and what they do for work, so we can get all the information. Build rapport, break through that barrier with a sledgehammer metaphorically. Once they're ready to move on, if they're not commonality, once they are, then you go to the 4 W's and the H. Okay, the what, the where, the why, and the when, or the what, the where, the when, the why. How they feel if they didn't, how they feel if they did. Scale of 10, why it's important, what does it mean for them. Then you go to and negate their past history. Then you do the 20-minute full body blast. Again, you can add your own flavor and style. This is just what I found works in over 3,000 times doing this myself, and having almost 100-person trainers use the same process that I've worked in my employment, and many more that have gone through the coaching program as well across the globe. Okay. So then what you want to do, obviously, is go through that. You go to your full body blast. Remember, keep it focused on 2 elements. 1, exercise they can't do on their own. They're actually probably going to say to you 9 times out of 10, how do I do this on my own? You look at them in the eye and say, exactly, how are you? Okay. The second thing is you focus on exercises that are going to make them feel it in the areas that they want to. Now, if you get a guy that says his number 1 priority is the abs, how often will we avoid that and explain that you need to do cardio and nutrition to lose that? They don't really care about that. They just want to know you listen. So imagine even if they've got 20, 30, 40 kilos of midsection fat to lose, you just do a plank, a couple of minutes to finish with. They feel it for a couple of days. They're going to love you for it because they feel like you've listened. It's a psychological element, even more important than nutrition and fitness combined. Okay, full body blast, come back, you use your 3 yes sets. Okay, you go through your price presentation and your close, you stack a whole heap of things in your package. If you want any help putting any of this stuff together, let me know. All the templates are in there. Okay, you upsell them. Okay, you use your double bind, you pull out your terms and conditions, you get your 2 referrals, you give them the vouchers, you get your direct debit, you get them booked in. Now, if they say no, you use your drop sell. Okay, you should have at least 3 opportunities for them to say no, and at least get them in for a month. And if you get any other objections besides money, you've got your one-liners there. Print that one-liner page up, laminate it, and memorize those, even if you pick one line for each one. And I guarantee it's going to make a massive difference. I just want to say thanks very much for everyone joining me today. And I really hope we have gone through so much information in a really short period of time. I know I talk fast and I go through a lot, but this is an incredible process. You know, I'm no better than anyone else. There's a good chance I'm one of the most experienced people in this country. Have the opportunity to deliver this process myself personally over 3,000 times, and I've had so many trainers use the same process, and I've just refined and tested and so forth. Give the process a go. Use these elements. Get your drop cells in place. Get your visual aid. Use these templates. Learn your one-liners off by heart. Don't be afraid when they say no to use your drop cells and you overcome objections. Get them to say yes. A lot of people will say no 2 or 3 times. The amount of people that you get on that 2nd or 3rd time is incredible. So many PTs don't ask after they get that first no. If you do have any questions, please let me know. My assistant will be in touch with each of you. I would like to offer each of you that aren't yet currently in the program a free 30-minute consult with myself personally, just to answer any questions you have about this and explain the templates and the process more in depth, and see if there is any way that we might be able to work together to help you grow your business faster. Again, thanks very much for joining us in today's free webinar, Personal Trainer Advanced NLP Sales Training free webinar, and keep a lookout for our future webinars and future events. Thanks again. I'm Jason Grossman, and I look forward to you joining us again very shortly. Thank you very much.